Just my voice.
There it is. For all your player news, go to NBCSports.com.
It's just my voice.
We literally have to start with what was Thursday Night Football in some form or the other. The Chiefs beat the Broncos in what you can call a football game, and Patrick Mahomes talked about his offense after the game. Take a listen.
I thought we did a great job of staying patient, getting the ball down the field, but in this league, 3 points, 7 points is just such a big difference. And so if we found a way to execute in the red zone and score those touchdowns, we'd come away feeling great. But since we didn't, we have a lot of room to improve. And so that's just something that we got to continue to work on. It's just putting a full game together. I think we've had spurts of playing good in the middle of the field. We've had spurts of playing good in the red zone. But let's put a full game together and see what we can do.
So here's the stat line last night, guys, from the receiving weapons of Kansas City. Not a surprise here, Jay. 9 targets and 9 catches for Travis Kelce, over 100 yards. And then really just, I'll give you this one, Jay. You were on Rashee Rice. You thought the receiving prop was way too low. You were right. He more than doubled it. So Rashee Rice kind of trending the right way in a receiving group that needs somebody to break out.
Yeah, still only 4 targets for Rashee Rice out of 39 across the whole team. So he got the yards, but still would like to see more involvement from him. I guess Travis Kelce is the big story on the Chiefs side. Just very little happened in this game. I think actually the most consequential play of the whole game was a Patrick Mahomes 15-yard scramble on 3rd down. That's what we were dealing with. And this Chiefs offense, I feel like they just mess around sometimes, evidenced by the lateral as you're seeing on your screen.
It's really cheeky.
You know, we play in the Super Bowl every year. What are we going to do Thursday night against Denver?
It was just sort of a snoozy game. I mean, honestly, I thought they should have shown Taylor Swift more. Honestly, that's...
Did they hit the under?
Yeah, they did. I believe the under hit, actually, on that. Al Michaels actually referenced that on air, which was pretty funny. Kelce did a great job. It was weird how open he was just in their zone. It was like, you guys know
Travis
that.
Kelce.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know what the Broncos
welcome to the
are doing.
Denver defense. They forgot Breece Hall was on the Jets. So,
although, in fairness, that loss wasn't on the Broncos defense.
Right.
I mean, they held the Chiefs to 19 points on the road on a short week. You'd take that. I mean, that's what's crazy is that, yes, it was weird that, Kelce was wide open, but they did a good job. They got after Mahomes. It wasn't a great game. We'll talk about Mahomes in a second. The one thing I want to say about Rashee Rice is that the positives are his snaps increased. He played 47% of the snaps last night compared with 30% the week before, so it's trending in the right direction. Justin Watson left this game with a pretty bad injury. Looks like he's going to be out for a while, and not that Justin Watson was a huge part of this offense, but that's one of those wide receivers that was running routes and getting downfield, and so does that along with Rice's continued improvement open up more opportunity for Rashee Rice. We've said it all along. We've been saying it for weeks, but if there's a Chiefs pass catcher not named Travis Kelce that we sort of like, it is Rashee Rice, who remains a priority stash and I think is usable. We talked about him. He made the love list this week. I think he'll take 4 for 72. Decent game there as well. And you're right, he crushed the prop. That was a great call by you, Jay Croucher. The 2 things for me from this game, guys, other than Rice, was on the positive side, Isiah Pacheco is the guy. Yep. Over 20 touches in this game. I like the fact that he's involved in the passing game. 15% target share, targeted on 33% of his routes. That 15% target share, by the way, was the highest in a game so far this season. His second straight game with over 60% of the snaps and 20-plus touches on a short week. I really like that. Just seeing him bounce back and getting that kind of usage. Yes, you see a little bit of CEH. You see a little bit of Jerick McKinnon. But there's no question Isiah Pacheco is the guy in this offense. He's a mid-tier RB2 with weekly RB1 upside. He's the starting running back on, I don't want to say one of the best offenses in football because it's no longer one of the best offenses in football.
Should get there at some
But should get there. It's an above-average offense that's going to be in scoring position more often than not.
So funny watching Pacheco run compared to Devon Achane and just the difference in economy of movement. Isiah Pacheco makes it look like it's hard to be a running back in the NFL, but he's still effective, and the fact that he got that game, he got that work as a pass catcher, I think bodes pretty well going forward, Connor.
It's almost stomping around his running style. A lot of high-legged,
arm
pumping arms.
I feel like
compare his runs to Breece Hall. Breece Hall just gliding along the field.
Yeah. I feel like if I was an NFL running back, I'd be much more closer to Isiah Pacheco, kind of just, a lot slower and a lot much easier to bring down.
Yeah.
But just, kind of that plodding sort of
It's like someone's stolen his bicycle in a car and he's chasing after the car to get his bicycle back. Like it just does. It's not very graceful.
Right.
But it is effective. And he's clearly the guy.
It's like me in the commissary on Free Popcorn Day.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, I'm
I can't
pushing
talk
through
about
PAs.
that. I'm not ready to talk
like,
about your popcorn
We needed some
performance.
B-roll of that at some point. It's a sight.
Every
folks.
Wednesday here at the NBC Sports Commissary, it's Free Popcorn Day. And I got to tell you something. Your boy Matty loves himself some popcorn. And I think the only thing I love more than popcorn is free popcorn. I have to tell you.
Well, here's the thing, is that you're a veteran of the free popcorn
Yes.
process, because what you do when you buy it, you build like a fort of napkins around the opening to
That's
the
correct.
popcorn. And it's just when you spill it, you're preparing for the spills. I've never seen someone preemptively prepare for their own spillage.
Yeah. I'll be like, well, I don't want to waste a kernel. I mean, exactly. Like on the dirty table and everything like that. And what happens is, like, they give you these small little bags, and so you got to shove it in there, and so it's overflowing a little bit.
I was with them the day they changed bag size. They decreased, and he walked up to the machine and said they decreased the bag size.
I was upset.
Yeah.
Watching you eat popcorn is deeply unsettling. Deeply unsettling.
Good scouting eye for the decrease in volume, though.
See, here I just want to give you an idea of how my mind works. Jay says it's deeply unsettling. So the way I go is, you'd think most people would be like, I should not eat popcorn around Jay anymore. The way my mind goes is, I need to make a point of always eating popcorn around Jay now.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to come into meetings like exactly. 1,000%.
Very bad.
In the Denver backfield, Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin.
Wait, hang on. Before we move on to Denver real quickly.
What do you got? I just spent 40 minutes on popcorn and 2 minutes on Isiah Pacheco, but we're not
Welcome
done.
to the show. Are you guys concerned at all about Patrick Mahomes? Because, like I said 2 weeks ago, this is what I said. I know he hasn't been great. He's been good. Like 2 weeks ago, heading into the Minnesota game, he was the 9th best quarterback in fantasy, which was fine. But you drafted him to be a top 3 guy, and I literally said, hey, here's your last chance to buy low, because look at their next 4. Minnesota, Denver, the Chargers, and then Denver again. Like, he's about ready to go off. This whole offense is just going to, turn another gear. Your last chance to buy lows before that Minnesota game. And I think actually you can still buy low, because he was good, not great against Minnesota. He was good, not great against Denver last night. Again, like what we thought going into the game was the worst defense in the NFL. And like you heard Mahomes from the sound earlier in the show talk about, like, they're just not executing at the level they expect.
Yep. I'm not concerned, because think about this. Think about how many drop passes there were against Detroit on opening night. His stats would be so much better across the board if Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore just could have caught one of their almost like 7 drops or something absurd. And then secondly, like, he played well against Jacksonville, Chicago. Jets have a really good pass defense. Minnesota, he played well. And then last night they were 4 of 14 on 3rd and 4th down. They were just messing around. These direct snaps to Kadarius Toney, like, they just didn't feel like they were fully engaged. And to me, the biggest thing about Mahomes going forward is I believe in Rashee Rice. I think that is a legitimate weapon for him. And Kelce is fully healthy, clearly. He's still the same guy. He's too good.
Oh, yeah.
And they will pick it up.
Where are you? I mean, like,
A little mixed bag, because there's just bad decision making while he's getting used to a totally different cast of characters outside of Kelce. But I still side with Jay. You always go to it's Patrick Mahomes and it's Andy Reid,
right,
and they're going to be okay. But I think what you're trying to dial in on, Barry, we didn't draft Patrick Mahomes to be fine.
That's the point.
That's
exactly.
you
used a 3rd or 4th round pick on him to be a top 3 guy.
That's
because if you wanted fine, you'd have gotten whatever. You'd have waited and gotten Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert 3 or 4 rounds later, by the way. Both of whom might be as good, if not better, than Mahomes at this point.
That's where I'm more hung up, that I look at quarterbacks around the league that just have to do more, like Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is the perfect example of that, who was not drafted before Patrick Mahomes. So
he's still throwing it, he's thrown it 40 times the past couple of games. Also, I think Rashee Rice and Kadarius Toney are better than Juju and MVS last year. I think that there's no reason why he can't be the guy that he was last year.
I'll just say that I don't know if I have him, I'm not panicking, but I don't know that I'm actively trying to trade for him, quote unquote, buying low. But I think, like, if I were ranking for the rest of the season as of today, I think he's like QB 5 or 6, which again is still good, but not. He had number 1 quarterback in fantasy upside at the beginning of the season. I'm not sure he's there yet anymore. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.